welcome to Tome with Uselessness. I'm Devin.
I'm Dan.
And today we're going to do part 2 of Arcane. But first, did you like anything this week, Dan?
I did, aside from Arcane. And, I read a book called MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios by Dave Gonzalez, Gavin Edwards, and Joanna Robinson. It was actually really interesting. I really enjoyed the book because it came out, near the end of 2023. They did talk about, Ant-Man and the Marvels and stuff like that.
Haven't you already talked about this book?
I don't think on stream. I've talked with you about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Keep going, then.
Anyway, no, it was good. And it just kind of talked about the start of Marvel Studios and the production of, Iron Man and all that kind of stuff like that. And a little bit of the history beforehand to the current kind of state of it. And, the lament and etc. And it's not funny. It's ridiculous that the decisions of some of these, billionaire-type CEOs or just, how they get in there. The reason we didn't get a Black Widow movie, because the one guy's wow, they don't sell action figures. And you're yeah, but she's, super hot right now, make the character, the character's popular, it would probably sell if you did a movie and made some toys. Right? Instead, he's no.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so stuff like that. And then it also really went into a lot of, their VFX process, which is, of course, interesting and being exposed more and more as sort of horrible. And, no, it was a good read. I really did enjoy it, as a fan of Marvel movies, even, of just being there's some issues there.
Fair enough.
And because, we've talked about, I've enjoyed their output, missed some as well. But anyway, it was a good read. I did enjoy it. I finished up the, the Malazan Book of the Fallen series, that 10-book epic one,
Yes.
and then there's, the 5-book companions. So I was reading the 5-book companion one because a 6th one was actually released in that companion series. So I finished rereading all those as well.
Nice.
They were good. It was, different and unexpected in some ways, and I enjoyed them. Again, they were good reads. Do recommend Malazan. It's big, epic science fiction, but it's done in such a way that the characters. I think I've mentioned this to you before. The 2 authors who created it, it was based off of their own D&D campaign.
Oh, cool.
But the main real difference is that, compared to say high fantasy, the magic and the gods aspect and all of that thing, it's in your face, but the soldiery, when magic starts happening, they're we're all gonna die.
Oh,
Wow. Magic is at that level where it's no, they're not casting a magic missile. Every spell is 8th or 9th level type equivalent, and it's gonna massacre everybody.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it's there's always just kind of this looming threat, and so it just kind of makes for a different fantasy world that I do enjoy, because most of the time each of the books will always sort of follow the main set characters. Fiddler, for example, is one of the main soldiers, but then there'll always be new side characters that are introduced, and they're either, if they live, cool; if they die, we got to see their POV, or they're not followed again in the next book, or maybe they retire or something, right? So it's a neat structure, but it's not for everybody, because they're huge. It's literally, the main series is 10 books of 700 plus pages. This side series was 6 books of 700 plus pages. So there's a lot there. But
That's a lot of reading.
Yeah, they're good. I do enjoy them.
Nice.
I've been listening to the Lonely Island Seth Meyers podcast. I think I might have mentioned this to you or not, but...
I remember seeing something, and then you sent me the songs that they did.
I did, because I didn't know they were making new stuff.
Yeah.
And
how was the podcast?
The podcast is really good, because it's literally The Lonely Island and Seth Meyers, and I didn't know that Seth Meyers was a writer at SNL, and the head writer of SNL in the era when The Lonely Island was there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So what's really kind of neat, what I enjoy about it, is that, so they talk about, at each episode, they'll talk about, the digital short that they did on that episode of SNL. Right?
Oh, cool.
But then they'll also talk about all the skits that took place and who wrote them, because they have access to the NBC databases and have, the scripts and,
oh, cool.
what got cut and why. And so they kind of go through a lot of that stuff in the behind the scenes. And, the minutiae of comedy can be interesting if you're into it, which I do enjoy it. And it is interesting just listening to them talk, especially because in the beginning with Lonely Island, they were just making the videos because that's what they kind of did, and then it just grew into, especially after like Natalie's rap and stuff like that. It exploded into Lorne Michaels, the producer of SNL, was like, I need one every episode, and they're like, wait,
what?
So it kind of put more pressure on them. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. I
feel like the Narnia rap did really well.
It was that one and Natalie's.
Yeah.
So Lazy Sunday and then Natalie's rap just boom into the stratosphere. And then, eventually when they do like I'm on a boat, dick in a box and stuff like that, right? So.
Oh, the song where he's on cocaine. Which is my favorite.
Sure. Yeah. So it's kind of just a neat thing right now because I'm caught up to it. Jorma is in Finland shooting a movie, and so the time doesn't match when they podcast. So they're always like, Jorm's not here again. So it's just like kind of the two of them. But what they'll do is they'll talk about like say a short or a sketch, and they'll get like voice notes from the writers or like the singers who are also in the song.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty good, like the information that you get out of it.
I'm gonna listen to that. That sounds really cool.
I've been enjoying it. Yeah.
Nice.
So, listening to that. Moving on to some other anime stuff. Uzumaki, they did an anime. How many episodes was it? It was like 4 or 6 or something like that. Uzumaki's the Junji Ito manga, the one I love, right? It's my favorite things. Anyway, they did like a manga.
Anime?
They did an anime. It was done by like a lesser, good studio, I guess, or whatever. It was just kind of weird watching it because they like speed run through all the issues,
that's
right?
Too bad. I feel like it probably could use like breathing time.
Yes, and that was what was more fascinating watching it. I don't think it was very good overall, but it was kind of just neat seeing some of the imagery and stuff like that on a bigger screen versus like the manga page, right? Because those are all straight lifted from the manga. But it was kind of just a neat watch. It was quick because they were like 20 to 40 minute episodes, and like I said, there was like they literally just showed it once on like Adult Swim, like all one go.
Oh,
and
wow.
I was just like, it's over. It was kind of neat. Lower Deck season 5 is going. I think it's almost done. I think episode 9 is just out now.
Nice.
And I think probably 10 episodes or something like that in the season. I enjoy it. It's the last season, and still enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
With Jack Quaid. I don't know if you saw how he did the review on Galaxy Quest.
That was great. Yeah.
Very good. And they were always flashing. They're like, Jack Quaid is on the Star Trek.
Yeah. Because he doesn't know anything about it. Yeah.
And then the last two things I'll mention, are video games. I played Control, which was a lot of fun. To me, I enjoyed it because it was like X-Files mixed with like old school 1960s aesthetic sci-fi kind of thing, like where you're fighting in this weird old FBI type building that's like all concrete, but it's all reforming because it's been taken over by like a dimensional entity and stuff like that. And you're finding like tape recorders and stuff like that, but you get psychic powers, and so you can like levitate and throw things, and
cool.
you get cool guns, and so you're fighting these monsters and stuff like that. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Not the longest play, I think 20 hours or something like that kind of thing, and I like maxed out like everything you could do, like all the DLC and everything like that. But you develop your fun tactics where you're like flying around, picking up desks and throwing them at monsters and gunning them down. You're like, yeah.
Did you pick up all the discs and make a pile of them?
Unfortunately, you don't have that much control when you're picking up things, ironically.
That's what I did in Portal.
Oh, yeah.
I made a pile of... In the first one, when you're kind of exploring the empty offices, you can make a pile of keyboards.
Like, now I'm the poltergeist. And then the other video game I'll mention was Outriders. It was a Square Enix joint. It was like a third-person shooter, sci-fi, where you're like on another planet, and some people, when this crazy storm came by, you get powers. You happen to be one of them, and there's like a war, and it was good. It's just like a looter shooter, like Borderlands or like Diablo and kind of thing. You just run around. The only thing is that like I finished the entire game, like all the story, all the side quests, and everything. And the only thing I left to do are the 2 end game things from the original game and the expansion. And they're basically like one of them you have to collect 40,000 drop pod, whatever. Like I have 3,000 from playing the entire game. And then you can go fight like this ultimate boss. And that's from the first game. And then from the expansion, the end game thing there is you have to basically go through like a arena, like, you know, room by room by room kind of thing, and if you fail, you only get like 3 lives, then you'd have to start again.
Oh.
And again, there's like the ultimate boss at the end of that, but to fight the ultimate boss, you have to also increase like the world level, which makes all the monsters do more damage, have more health, blah 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 blah, to level 15, I think, and then you can fight that guy. And I'm only on like level 12 of the world, or no, not even 10. No, I think 11 or 12. Anyway, it's just like a huge grind, and I'm like, is that even worth me doing that? Like, why? Because I got to the second to last ultimate boss in that one, and he has like, you have to do King of the Hill things to take it down his shield, and the whole time he's like lobbing like huge damage things that like kill you, and if you spend too much time outside the rings, eventually it just activates an auto death. And I'm just like, oh. Because I'm like, oh, okay, I'm doing all right, and then I just like auto die, and I'm like, wow, guess not. So, anyway, the rest of the game was fun though. I did enjoy it. Because again, with those ones, you know, you get skills, and you can mix and match. Like, I played the character who has like teleporting capabilities and like, you know, a side blade kind of thing, so you're just like teleport into a group of enemies, hit them hard, and then you just like teleport away. You know, it's so fun. I did enjoy it.
Cool.
Yeah. And I think that's it for now.
All right. Yeah. Mine's much shorter.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. I know I talked a lot there.
No. I'm working so much that like I don't do things with my life.
Yeah.
So I'm still watching Succession. I'm on the final season now. I recommend it. It gets really good. The first season, like, getting used to it, because I don't know if I mentioned this. It's not like a mockumentary style like The Office, but it's supposed to be filmed in a way that makes you feel like you're in the room. So they do a lot of snap zooms, and it takes a minute to get used to it because it's just like...
Yeah, after Battlestar Galactica, it was like, no one should do this anymore.
Oh my god, I was like now I don't notice as much. Every once in a while one will stick out to me as being like, why did you do that? You're not emphasizing anything. But aside from that, I really enjoy it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, like the writing and the character dynamics. And
all the characters suck. There's no good characters.
Yeah.
Like, the main character is awful.
Yeah.
They're all awful, but it's fun to watch, and it's fun to watch them do stupid things.
Sure.
Yeah. So I recommend Succession still. Snap zooms and all. And then I watched Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah, it's good. I was entertained by it.
I feel like that movie would have been the top grossing movie of 2014. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about it a bit, like, I felt like it didn't go so far for me that I was like annoyed by its referential and its humor style. Maybe because there was a break between Deadpool 2 and 3, that it was like I wasn't annoyed by it, whereas like I could see it being annoying. Yeah. Because that's the whole shtick, right?
I didn't really find it annoying. It's just not a style of humor that I'm like really immersed in anymore. So it does just feel a little bit dated because of that. But, and without like revealing too many spoilers.
It's been out for a long time now, yeah.
I mean, like, I could just see if that came out in 2014, the scene where Deadpool is fighting all the Deadpools.
Yeah.
People would have just lost their shit for it. Like,
now, not so much.
Now it's just like, alright. It was a fun scene.
No, I was going to say, it was a good standard action. You're like, yes, but it wasn't like mind-blowing.
It wasn't, yeah. Like, everything that they did has been done, I guess, except for Wolverine having a proper outfit.
Yes, he finally gets the proper outfit.
Which was great, and his helmet was cool.
So good.
And I liked the twist of having all the other, like, dead Marvel characters in it.
Yeah.
Not dead, but, like, the Sony... The
Spawn. Yeah. Well, and one thing I really liked, because I've watched it a couple more times since I saw it in theater, and I actually, you kind of like, Hugh Jackman still is doing some great acting.
He's amazing.
He's so good, and you're just like, but it's for Deadpool and Wolverine, but you're like, man, he is still nailing this.
He's still great.
And like that scene between him and, what's her name? Cora, no. Bad girl.
Oh, Emma Darcy.
No.
Is her name?
It's not. No, that's the girl from the person from Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Charles's twin.
Yeah.
The bad
Cassandra,
that's it. In his mind or whatever. It's like, he's nailing it, and they're, like I said before, like their look and everything was great, and the fingers and
it was gross and cool.
Yeah. So I liked a lot about it for sure.
There's bits, but like when it opened with this scene of Deadpool fighting the TVA with pieces of dead Wolverine. I was like,
Dead Logan.
Is this what this movie's gonna be? I'm gonna tap out right now if that's the case. Yeah.
Well, it was just the opening.
Oh, also, the Dick from the TVA is in Succession.
Oh.
He plays Tom.
Nice.
Yeah, and he plays the same character basically.
Sure, if he's good at it.
So Succession, Wolverine, Deadpool. Still listening to some old Knowledge Fight.
Nice. I missed today's.
Oh, I was listening to it on the way here.
Nice.
Pretty good. And then there was a new episode of If Books Could Kill, which was great.
It was.
I've listened to it, I think, 3 times now.
I usually listen to their stuff twice. Because the first time, especially with my work, I'm only like kind of half paying attention.
Yeah.
And so I like to give it another listen. Same with the 5-4, like I listened to that earlier today as well. Yeah.
And, that's about it, except I'm also... Did you know that Duolingo, this isn't an ad, now has a math program?
I did not know that.
I'm trying to learn math on Duolingo.
Nice.
I don't know if I think it's good or not, but I do enjoy getting the dopamine of answering questions correctly. But I don't know if it's actually teaching me anything.
You know what actually really helped me with math is literally D&D and role-playing games. I don't think I have that skill now because I haven't played as much, but when I was like playing like once or twice a week, like literally you could just roll dice and I could like add them up in like a second. Like it would just be like 10 dice and I'd be like, oh yeah, it's like 78 or whatever. And it was just like and I was just like, I am not good at math, but like that math I could just do it.
Well, because it's like a habit and you're interested in it.
But like they say like other general I mean I'm probably better than I think because I actually do accounting at work, so I'm better at math than I think I am.
Good point. But the one thing I don't like about Duo Math is that they have these like grids of 100 and then like it's represented by like squares being colored in.
Right.
Pardon me. So they'll give you like an equation and then they'll like select the answer. And it's like on these grids, but they're so little that I can't count the boxes. This is an old person problem.
Sure.
My eyes aren't good enough, and you can't zoom in. Sometimes I'm like, that looks like 5, but it could be 6 or 4.
No, you have to do it like on an iPad or something.
Like on my little phone.
You're like, the resolution is terrible on this.
That's it.
Fair enough. Cool. And then, Arcane season dose.
So what's your overall thought of Arcane season dose?
Let's see, what did I write in my notes? What is my overall thought? Too many needle drops.
Too many noodle drops?
Needle drops.
Oh, yeah.
Which made me annoyed by the ones like I would have liked. Yeah. Where I'm like, this works. This is like the pro needle drop here. We've already done 1 or 2 others this episode.
Yeah.
And I'm annoyed by this. But yeah, like maybe if that was like stretched out, like, cause I didn't watch them, like I didn't binge it. I watched like 1 a day.
Okay.
Right? But maybe like 1 a week that maybe would have like given distance for like the music. But overall, aside from that, which is a minor complaint, it was amazing. I feel like in some of my notes we can see here, like there's a couple episodes where I was like, what's with the editing here? Or like, what's with like some of this visual style? It's just like, it's not gelling with what you've already done. And which is again odd to say because there's been multiple articles and everything about how much they cost and how much they put into it and like the effort. And I'm just like, why does this look like crap? But then there's other stuff like the entire aesthetic of the hex rune, like screwed up, like amazing.
Totally.
Like, give me all. That's like Annihilation times 10. And I love that. I'm like, give me this. But overall, I still really liked it. Some compressed characterization stuff, feels wild swings here and there, but they're working within their 9 episodes because they're trying to finish it. Which again, I think like we spoke about, it's like when did they know they weren't doing more? Because maybe some of it could have been stretched.
Yeah, I agree. I think like it's a shame that they had so many, like, filler music videos when they didn't have time to tell the story that they wanted to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that, like, the music videos are what makes it go viral on TikTok, and people can pick out the songs, and they can do cosplays to it, and that gets more eyes on the program. But, like, I don't know, like, from just a purely, like, I'm enjoying this story and I would like to know more about the story, it was very irritating to, like, constantly have these, like...
Well, yeah, like, in episode 1 it happened, like, and I was like, okay, you know, you're opening up, we're trying to kind of sort of recapping what happened, you get this emotional song to, like, bring us back in, okay, fine. But then it, like, just kept happening, and I'm like, what is happening in the show?
Yeah.
Why is this happening? Because I was trying to think back, I didn't rewatch the first season, but it was like, you know, they had that one moment, like we talked about, where the band was in there, and we were like, no. And, but, you know, they had a couple other musical ones, but it would almost seem like maybe one every 3 episodes or so.
Yeah.
And this, like...
Every
episode. At least one, sometimes 2. And I'm just like, what are you doing?
I felt like... So I'm going to jump around in the story.
Sure, yeah. We're not really doing episode by episode, but we can jump around, yeah. But.
So, what was it, like 2 or 3 episodes from the last episode is Echo's, like, kind of alternate timeline episode?
That's episode, I believe, 7 here?
7?
Yeah.
Out of 9.
Yes.
So it kind of, again, I liked the episode. I liked the concept.
Yes.
But when you only have 9 episodes, to take an entire episode out to tell a different story from what you're telling, it felt really jarring and weird.
And almost to me, it felt like I felt like that episode could have come earlier.
I said the same thing. This is this is like an episode 4 story, not an episode 7
And then
story.
by 7, you kind of forget, or you're like, oh, what's going on with him? And then boom, he shows up, and you're like, oh, sweet, he's from that alternate timeline that we saw.
No, I totally said the same thing. I'm like, oh, this should have been episode 4
Yeah,
or
because
5.
what I liked was the reveal when Jace comes back, and then he hammers that dude, and I was like, oh, like, he's gone off the deep end. And then, because at this point, we've mostly always all been with Victor and Sky, and he's like, oh, there's some corruption, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, maybe he has come back corrupted in some way, and he's the bad guy now.
Yeah.
Because, again, I don't know League of Legends lore. He's supposed to be good guy, bad guy. Then I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then eventually, like, the turn reveal, like, that all worked for me.
Yeah.
And I liked that unknown of just like, oh, has he become a weirdo bad guy because he was in the Shadow Realm or whatever?
Honestly, the most interesting stuff for me was the Victor stuff.
Of course.
And I really loved the way they animated his self post-death when he's like in the sky, in the space with the stars and everything.
With Sky.
Yeah. It all looked so gorgeous and so cool.
Yeah.
And like, I was like, I don't really care about whatever the fuck
Kate and Vi
and Kate and Jinx are doing. I know that they're the characters people like, but this is so much cooler.
Well, and it was interesting because I liked it as well. It was just like, it almost seemed like it was setting up the seeds in like episode 3 or so kind of thing that are just like, okay, he's down there doing a thing, and we're not going to go back to him until eventually it turns out like he is the big catalyst of everything. And like you said, we got to spend all this time with him, and I was just like, oh, it was well done.
Yeah.
I think like you said, like it was almost, again, maybe in a stretched out thing.
It would have been more interesting.
Well, no, it was so interesting that it overshadowed the fate.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Like, where again, if it could have been stretched a little more, it could have woven a little better.
Yeah,
but as it was.
Oh my gosh. Also, everyone got a makeover this season. Yeah. Like, oh my god. How much more of this? Vi gets all depressed and turns goth because her girlfriend doesn't like her.
Well, there were some things there. Yeah.
Caitlin turns into kind of Nazi.
A Nazi. Yeah, and I really liked, like, early on, I think it was in episode, like, 2, I think it was, where...
Mel's makeover was great, though. She looked so fucking cool at the end.
Yeah, it's so funny because I wrote that in my notes, and I think I remember talking with you about it, was because of the way the show was structured, like, when she first showed up on screen, I just assumed she was a wizard.
Yeah.
And I was like, but then it was like, oh no, it's not that kind of world. They have only a few people have magic, and they're developing this hex tech. And then she turned out to be a wizard, and I was like, okay, so I wasn't wrong.
Right, yeah, she is a wizard.
She is a wizard. Yeah, like, it was literally my first thought. I was like, you don't look that cool and you're not a wizard. But I was gonna say, I really liked when early on, when they do develop like the hit squad to go after Jinx.
Yeah, that was fun.
And like the animation with the smoke and like the the goggles and kind of coming out of the shadows, like in the use of that. I was like, this is all great.
That should have been like a 6-episode arc.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That should have been half of season 2.
Sure.
And then, like, I guess season 2 should have ended. When would be a logical? I guess. Well, like, I guess it seems kind of logical to end it when, like, Victor dies and.
That's what I was saying. Like Jace, Echo, and Heimerdinger get like shadow realmed.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, and then they come back. Like then you can explore that the next season.
Yeah.
Right.
That seems like logical to me, and then that could have been like fleshed out a little bit more. But yeah, that should have been a 6-episode arc with. I
was surprised it ended so fast.
Yeah.
I was just like, whoa, and then. Yeah, Kate and Vi on the rocks because she's gone crazy. Yeah. Because it's in my notes here, but it was like, they had Jinx beat, but she's just saying don't shoot because there's a kid. You could have captured her. Like, you could have just walked up and been like, handcuffs, we win. It was like, that's all she's saying here. She's just saying,
don't shoot the kid.
Don't shoot the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kid didn't do anything yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like that was kind of, like you're saying, there was some weird turns. I was like, okay, again, she's mad about her mom dying. I add that. But it was also like, you just walk up and clap irons on her. You've won.
So, okay, I'm going to shift tone a little bit.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
What is going on with the Order of the Black Rose? Or the Black Rose bitches?
Right.
Witches?
From what I understand, they were just simply, well, not simply, I guess, what's her name?
Mom.
The mom, not Savika. Mbessa. That's the one.
Mbessa?
Yeah.
Okay.
I assume that in her territory, the Black Rose is like trying to vie for either territory or power, and Mbessa's like been fighting with them.
And there's a bunch of witches.
Yeah.
And then, so Mbessa's daughter is a witch, Mel?
Yes.
Because she fucked a Black Rose or something?
That's what I was gathering, yes. She's probably like, well, I don't remember the exact dialogue, but it was like, fell in love, or maybe she seduced a warlock type, and then she had Mel.
And she had Mel. But they thought that the son
was the one.
Was the one, but he wasn't, so they killed him or made him go crazy or something?
Well, yeah, I assume he's dead.
Yeah. And then, so Mel is a witch?
Yes. And
then, like, why?
Why?
Well,
no,
like, why did they kidnap her? What were they trying to achieve? Why did they want to bring her to their side?
I think they were just trying to, like, get at Mbessa. It's probably just like a blood feud that's been going on for generations.
Why?
But we don't know. It's one of those things like in Dune. You don't know why the Harkonnens and the Atreides don't like each other. They just don't.
It seemed like something that was more personal between Mbessa and the Black Rose rather than like a long-standing feud.
Could be. There could be an answer in the League of Legends lore that I just don't know.
I don't care.
Yeah, me neither.
For a person who's only watching the show, it did come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Make very little sense.
She just gets kidnapped and you're like, wait, what is that? Every time Mbessa's always been like threatening or talking about like the threat to our kingdom and blah 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 blah, and you just assumed it was like, okay, some bad wizard types or another army or whatever, and then like she kidnaps her and you're just like, it just felt like, why are you introducing this now?
Yeah, right? Yeah. We have so little time in this season.
Yeah.
Why are you introducing this? Why are we spending almost an entire episode with Mel in captivity?
Yeah.
Like, again, it's a cool idea. She looked badass at the end, but like, story-wise, this doesn't seem like good time management, right? Like,
I think it was just trying to do, like, because again, I was not surprised, I guess. It was also just, Mbessa and her whole thing being brought to the forefront. I wasn't expecting that almost, because again, like she was always like an outside party to the story,
so
whereas
she becomes like a main character.
She becomes a kind of main character into it, and I was kind of like, oh, because again, we have all these other characters.
That we don't get to spend time with. And then there was also like in season 2, there's like a flashback to Vi and Jinx's mom talking to
Silco and
Vander for like a long time, and it felt like there was going to be a part 2 to that, but it just ends. And then you're left hanging again. Also, like the end of the show. Who's in the blimp? Not the blimp. The Zephyr. Who's in the airship?
It's assumed it's Jinx.
Jinx died.
No, because that's Kate was looking at the architecture diagrams of the shaft, and there was like escape hatches, like a la Bespin, like Luke did. It's like
I totally missed it. I just saw that. I was like, was that Kate and Vi?
Just taken off?
Like, were they in that? Are they in the airship at the last, when they're having that conversation in the library?
Right.
Does the airship have a library with a fireplace in it?
I assume not. I assume that it was Jinx because of the air shaft reveal from the blueprints.
Oh, I had absolutely no idea that was.
It was pretty fast.
I thought she was dead, and I was like, that's a great ending for that character.
It also could not be her, and it was a great ending for that character.
If it wasn't her, then who was it?
Well, that's just it was like, It was.
Because that is the most confusing last shot of anything I've ever seen. I'm like, what the fuck's in that blimp?
It's the courier from the game. I don't know.
It's just like sometimes blimps fly by in the game. So
or was it trying to show that because they weren't using the hex gates anymore, now the blimp has to like blimp along?
Oh, maybe.
That's also a possibility. So
but also, like,
I'll go with 2 possibilities there.
I don't like either of them.
Well, it's like if it's going to show that, then you have to have like a line of dialogue from like the captain being like, "Oh, we can't take the gate now. It's going to take us a month to get wherever." Something
obvious for the dummies.
I just assumed the Jinx reveal, or not reveal.
Incredibly stupid. It's a much better ending if she just dies.
Well, I was also on board for her. She sacrificed herself. She was willing to die earlier in the episode.
That's her arc, right? Like, that makes sense. Okay. She protects her sister, who's been trying to protect her the whole time. It's good.
Yeah.
But no.
Gotta leave it open, Devin.
Season 5. No, season 2. Season spin-off Jinx.
I was about to say Jinx Origins.
Jinx Origins. Yeah, that bothered me. I was like, what is this ending? But now it's worse. You've made it worse. You didn't make it better. You made it worse.
Well, go with option 2. It's just them blimping along.
It's just a blimp.
Just a blimp. Yeah, just a blimp.
Hey, was Jace and Vince, like, gay for each other in the end? Or were they just, like, the power of friendship killed them?
Jace and Victor?
Yeah, Victor, yeah.
I always assume... Well, I don't...
Like, were they in love and I missed it the whole time? I thought it was power of friendship.
Yeah,
and then I saw these articles that were like, everybody's gay in this show.
Well, or you could say maybe they're bisexual, because Jace earlier was with Mel.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, but, like, I didn't pick up on, like, romantic love vibes. I thought they were just, like, bro vibes. Yeah, but I wasn't sure. I was all confused afterwards. I didn't even know that Jinx escaped in a blimp.
I was going with power friendship bro vibes as well.
It's weird because, like, when I was thinking back to it, I'm like, oh yeah, they've known each other their whole life. But that's not true. They meet in episode 1 of Arcane.
Yeah.
So I would have liked some, like...
Yeah. But I think by the end especially, because Victor has had, like, the multiversal knowledge downloaded, he knows, like, he's known Jace for lifetimes, whereas the inverse is not true. Jace has only known him for X number of years.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Because Victor
yeah.
was the guy.
The whole time.
Yeah. They gave him the rune.
Yes.
That he put on his bracelet. His friendship bracelet. With his bro.
Yeah.
So did they get they got the rune from themselves?
Technically. No, because Not really. Like, because he saved Jace, that then gave him the inspiration to create Hextech. Jace still created Hextech, not Victor.
Yeah.
Initially.
But
then it goes farther, and then, like you say, then he gets the multiversal knowledge, and yes, time travel. So it's a grandfather paradox thing, right? Where it's like, again, he went back in time and did it.
Fuck your own grandfather.
Yeah, he went back in time and did it, so did he cause it, or did it already happen because he did it? Right. Like,
I don't know.
Which is what like the Tenet logic is. It's like
Tenet doesn't have any logic to it. It's just Christopher Nolan making loud noises and pretty special effects and hoping no one notices that it's all bullshit.
No, I'm just saying the logic that Pattinson says at the end is that it's already happened and we're just making it happen as it already happened. Like you can't change it. We're doing it.
No. That's silly.
It's a good movie.
It's actually a terrible movie.
No, it's not. Good movie.
Peter watched it high and he said it made less sense.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense.
But it already made no sense. So
it makes sense.
How did it make less than no sense? It makes negative sense, which actually means it makes positive sense.
Well, back to Arcane for a moment here. I just wanted to then shout out, though, like, Ella Purnell's, Jinx performance, really good, but she's got kind of, like, the most fun character to do, right? Vi is depressed for half of it, and also the whole time being like, gotta get my sister, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, Haley Steinfeld's not doing a whole lot, but
true.
She was good, but like I said, Ella Purnell, quite good in there, and
I liked Victor's voice actor a lot.
Yeah, he grew on me. He was kind of in season 1, maybe because, again, he's like a lesser character in season 1.
He's more fun in season 2. He's the only
he gets to do stuff.
really improvement in season 2 from season 1. Yeah. I didn't hate season 2, but I really... You can't help but not compare it to the first season, and it is not as good by half of the first season.
I don't think it was as strong, but I did like a lot of the... I liked so much about it, though, as well. Especially at, the final episode, you got your big battle, and it's, so well animated, so well put together.
Oh, absolutely the animation. Story-wise.
Yeah.
For me, that's where it suffered, yeah.
Well, and it's funny as well, that final encounter with Mel and Bessa and Kate, they're, 2v1ing her, and, everyone's okay with that? They're not like, hey, this has to be a 1v1 situation or whatever.
That's silly.
Yeah.
Why would you say something so silly?
Even in Bessa, again, every culture has their differences when it comes to an honor duel or whatever, but I was kind of like, Kate was like, let's get it on, and I'm like, okay, and then Mel's like, I'm helping out I'm buffing you and stuff, and I was like, we're 2v1 here?
Yeah, it was part of her plan, though, to do something with the Black Roses that were bad people, or maybe good people, but now they're dead people.
Yeah.
She destroyed them all. With her necklace?
Well... or destroyed enough of them that they couldn't, take her over or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
whatever. It
Fair
doesn't
enough.
matter. Yeah.
And like I said, for me, there's a note here. Where do I have it? It's after episode 6 or something like that. Episode 4. Where's the story going? Feels very disconnected at the moment. Because it was true. It was in a good way. I was also I don't know where this is going, but also I was it's been kind of,
Nobody knows where it's going.
Yeah, kind of splotchy here. But,
the android design was sleek.
Yeah.
I agree. That was cool.
I did like that. And like you said, like you highlighted, the effects for Mel, the animation on that was really cool. Heimerdinger, no!
He became paste!
Yeah. Well, technically he's not dead. He just got, transported to, he just got shunted to another dimension.
Oh, okay.
That's the logic that I've seen. But, this was also something I thought they were setting up. Because they show Powder with the crystals, and she just helped build, a dimensional rift machine. I was like, she could rebuild it. So I thought she was coming in at the end. Well, obviously not. but I was like, clearly that's kind of what they seem to be setting up. But
I don't think they knew what they were setting up. They were just like, this would be really cool.
Because it happened so late, because it's episode 7, and I was like,
yeah.
Whoa,
I did really like the effect of the time rewind. Mm-hmm. That was fun.
Yes.
With Echo.
Yeah, and all the monkeys.
Yeah. But I do think that the writers just didn't know what they were doing, or maybe they wrote 18 episodes and then just started hacking away until it became 9.
Well, and it's interesting though, again, like looking at these credits, like they're written again by different people, like they did from season 1. But season 1 felt so cohesive and worked, right? Like
this was cohesively uncohesive.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
At least they all agreed to do that.
So Amanda Overton seems to be at least on 3 of them credited writer, but then like some of them is just like different writers, which again I was very surprised at when I looked at for season 1 because it seems so tight.
Season 1 was just really, really well done.
Yeah, I think it's like the case of a lot of shows. Like I've mentioned this, it's not so much a theory, but it's like the season 1 of anything, especially, is always like where all the ideas get poured in, and it's the one that you've been gestating with, and like rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. So it's like the best, and then they're like, okay, you got to do more, and you're like, crap. Yeah. I
think that was one of the best things that Noelle Stevenson did with She-Ra was that she was
5.
like, I'm gonna do I need 5 seasons to tell this story,
right?
And got Netflix to agree to it, right?
And I think the same thing happened with maybe Babylon 5. I think I want to say it was the same thing. The guy's like, here's the whole story, and then he had written it all, but I think it got canceled. But then like he still had the whole story, and eventually it got made. So he was like, got to tell the whole story. I think I want to say, but it was the same idea, like you're saying. He's like, it's 5 seasons. Here it is.
Yeah, it's not going to be any more.
Yeah.
This is how much money I need.
Yeah. So, but like I said, it was just I don't know, because that one for me, Westworld is a classic example of that. The revival, like season 1, is incredible. It's like the best season of TV I've ever seen. And then they're like, okay, we got to do more, and you're like, okay.
Why don't you just do the 1 season?
Yeah.
Oh, because of the money.
I mean, I still like season 2. Yeah. And for me, well, it's not a Westworld podcast, but like the promise of season 3, episode 1, I love that episode of
I haven't seen it.
It's so good, and it just like sets up, and I'm like, man, this is going to be off the chain, and then it wasn't off the chain.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh. Like just the way it set up, it was like Blade Runner and dystopian stuff. Like it was just like all in my wheelhouse, and then it was like, no.
Silly.
But yeah, like I don't know, it was just kind of it was interesting, like you're saying, just like with the Caitlyn Nazi turn to become like authoritarian. And I'm like, okay, she's just stepping up into that and like kind of almost willingly being manipulated by Ambessa because she's not dumb.
Yeah.
Like so she's just kind of like, yep, let's do this. And
she's just blinded by grief.
Yeah, I guess
Also, like, okay, we mentioned it briefly, but the kid.
Isha?
Why is she in this?
Well, it's to teach Jinx
I know.
lessons and to care and, someone without a voice.
I know she was a device to bring Jinx back to the good side.
Mm-hmm.
To bring Jinx back to powder, basically.
Yeah.
But also, like, it just seemed like, okay, she's good now, we can kill the kid.
Well, the kid does a noble sacrifice.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess the kid is a character you can play in the game. I've heard that.
Is it? Oh, really?
So,
yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, and again, like I've said before, like I don't know, like I didn't even know. No, but I didn't even know like Ambessa is a playable character, and then it made sense because like I really liked her armor design, like she put on her helmet in one episode. Cool. I was like, yeah, and then it was like, oh, she's a playable character. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. And same thing with like when Mel becomes like the wizard or whatever. I'm like, okay, obviously playable character.
Yeah, I think
I didn't realize the kid would be. I guess the kid just probably has similar Jinx-esque powers, but just different ones.
Smaller.
Yeah. Smaller sprite.
I think that all the main characters were like playable characters.
It wouldn't shock me. Yeah. Or like I was
saying, they all got makeovers this season.
New skins. No, I was gonna say, and it's the same like with Legend of Runeterra, like the card game one too. I was like, they could pull characters from that or their looks or changes. Because like I said, there's like a big shark character in that card game, and of course he's never referenced. Like you see a shark once swim by, and I was kind of like, is that supposed to be the shark guy? But it's literally like a talking shark.
I think Vander turning into the beastie guy
is this character, yeah.
I think that's probably like like that. If you played the game, the like breadcrumbs they left leading up to that character being revealed.
Yeah.
I think that probably would have been really cool. But I was just like, what the fuck's going on?
Well, and that reminds me of the, oh no, I've lost it. It was, oh yeah, no. The science guy, the Mr. Freeze backstory. That made me kind of laugh. I was like, the Mr. Freeze backstory. But then I was kind of like, oh, okay. It's kind of interesting that we're back to him, a recurring character. They didn't introduce someone new.
Oh, yeah. Fan favorite science man.
Fan favorite creepy science man.
Creepy science man. And his tortured axolotl.
But at least, I kind of enjoyed that, because they kept on seeding it. They're like, he's still here doing some experiments. You're like, okay. And then when he confronts Caitlin and Vessa, and then he's like, later, he's like, no. She's not going to kill me. She wants my stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I liked him bringing in, and then even him interacting with Victor was good as well, because he's like, no, I'm already beyond your minor sciences here, dude.
He's like, I'm God.
Yeah.
He's like, but I could use the blood of this thing to make you God forever. Yeah. And he's like, no. Got better things to do. I've got a space honey to go visit.
Trying to reach Vander's humanity here.
I liked the look of when the what is the pink substance called again?
Shimmer?
Yeah, the shimmer addicts when he heals them and then they were all white and gold. That was a cool effect.
Yeah, or just not entirely, but whatever was kind of bothering them.
Yeah,
with their deformity.
Yeah.
And then they all had the handprint essentially on their foreheads.
Yeah.
When that all activated too, that looked it was very cool. Yeah, when they all got turned to androids and stuff, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah,
the androids look really cool too. I like the color scheme of white and gold because it doesn't feel as sci-fi,
right?
But it is. I don't know.
No, and I think, like I said, the entire look of all of that stuff and the way it was animated, fractals and crazy colors and everything else, just yes.
Yeah.
This is what I'm in for here.
And when Jace is running around the post-hex tech explosion world, like you were saying, Annihilation times 10. I said the same thing. I'm like, this looks like Annihilation.
Yeah.
This dude is an Alex Garland fan. Or
somebody was. Yeah.
This person is an Alex Garland fan.
Yeah, no, that was some of my favorite stuff for sure in the entirety of it. And again, I still really liked the animation for the fight scenes and the choreography and like I said, it was just more
I felt that the fight scenes suffered in this one because they kept doing the music video cuts.
That's what I was going to say. The problem was that there was too much either music to it or like I said, there was the ones that would work where I was like, this should be hyping me up or amping me or epicness, but I was like, if we've done a music number, just give me the fight.
Stop cutting it and doing poses and just do the fight because that looks so cool. Yeah. It's so well done in the first one.
Yeah, well, because the fight between Savika and Vi in the first season is so good in that office, and then they're just beating on each other, and I'm like, yes. And then we're getting Jinx v Vi, and they're going all out, and then instead it's it's either choppy or it's cutting back to Kate and Savika, and I'm like, no.
What? Yeah. Just show the fight.
Yeah. I did like, though, how Vi was like, look, these other guys, they can't hang here. If we're taking on Jinx, it's gotta be just us.
Yeah, just send them home.
Yeah, because she's like, she's gonna break their mind. She's the Joker. But I don't know, I kind of like that. Obviously it then pares down the amount of people involved, but I was also I don't know, I liked that as a character moment of just no. They may be with us, but they ain't gonna handle it.
Yeah. Let them go home to their moms.
And then the betrayal reveal by the ginger one.
Oh, yeah. Vi's new girlfriend.
Kate's new girlfriend. Yeah. Sabotages the little thing. I was like, oh, clever.
Yeah.
And then dies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Just immediately. Just owned.
Kate and Vi having their reunion in a dirty prison cell when anyone could walk in. That was sexy.
I assume the guards have been sent away.
Yeah, but it's still...
Because she said she did. She said the guy sent the guards away or whatever.
Still pretty unsanitary down there. People poop in those cells. It's not sexy.
And especially in a fantasy setting, yes.
Yeah.
There was straw on the floor. I don't know.
Rolled around in the straw on the floor.
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems like an infection waiting to happen. So, it's just my opinion.
They got Hex Tech. They'll be alright.
They'll turn into more victors because they got a terrible
Heated antibiotics.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I thought that was unsexy because I was worried about the cross-contamination, personally. What did you think of it? Was it...
I was kind of like... It not came out of nowhere, almost in a way.
It did come out of nowhere.
Okay, I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of out of nowhere, but I was also like, they know they're probably going into some kind of crazy final war situation.
Yeah.
Fine. I was fine with it.
Right.
Yeah. I wasn't all like, ooh, awesome. I was like, alright.
They're together now.
Yeah, I was like, they're together, whatever. They had a previously established relationship. It wasn't totally out of nowhere.
That's true. That's true. They were staring longingly at each other at some point, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, overall, like, I would still highly recommend. It was still entertaining. I think like both of us, season 1 was the tighter season.
I think I would recommend season 1.
Oh, you really? Not even just to be like, finish up this story
I
almost in a
guess
sense? Because it does have the story, like the creation and the end of the Hex Tech use, essentially.
Yeah, I guess for like completionists. But I don't know, I don't feel like it was a waste of my time or anything. But I just didn't really... I was watching it and hoping that it would get as good as season 1.
Yeah, I feel
it
that.
disappointed me that way.
That's fair.
Although there was really cool moments overall, I didn't feel a satisfaction of like a story being wrapped up properly. Yeah. And I guess like we were saying, like the emotional beats that should have really gotten to me, like the little girl sacrificing herself, or like Vander becoming unvander.
Yeah, I'd say them coming back together again.
Yeah.
I thought for sure, maybe that one a little would get it, but no. Okay.
Dead inside.
No, you always need a good family reunion.
I need stories to be finessed properly to like enjoy it, because otherwise I'm just like, what?
What? Yeah.
Who cares? That's okay. People can get mad at me on the internet. The 4 people that listen to us can send me hate messages being like, how dare you?
Well, and again, because they kind of, it more so, because season 1, had like almost like the 1, 2, act 1, 2, 3, right? Kind of thing. 3 episodes, 3 episodes, 3 episodes. This one didn't, because the last 6 episodes are all trying to like do the big epic story part. So, 1, 2, 3, it's like, okay, it was like, that makes sense. Again, it seemed too quick though, because like Jinx becomes like a hero, even though she doesn't want to, and then it was like resolved right away. Again, it just little things like that seeming too rushed, kind of, lowered the enjoyment. But I still enjoyed it for sure. Like you said, it wasn't like a terrible waste of time or anything. But it was also, I think, because season 1 had the high bar that you're like, it's just not as good.
Yeah. I do think that like I agree with that like for the 6 episodes where it's team up for Vi and Kate and the others, that should have been 6 episodes of Jinx hero arc, right? Like becoming the hero of the people and everything, and fighting against it and then accepting it. Would have been a better storytelling. Yeah. That's all. We still got the same message in the end, I guess. It's just it had no emotional resonance for me because it was done at breakneck speed.
Right.
And then anything that could have possibly been given space, that space instead was given to music videos so that it goes viral on the internet.
Well, and what bothered me especially, and I noticed it in episode 1 and 2, I can't remember, but like the episode 1 and the episode 2 one. The episode 1 I was kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, it wasn't animated, it was like still shots. Right, over the music. And like I said, in episode 1, I was kind of like, okay, it's, just reintroducing the story again, blah, blah, blah. But then they did it again in episode 2, and I was kind of like,
are we doing this every episode?
Why are you trying to... Yeah, again, we know you spent a ton of money on this. Why are we doing this still stuff here?
Why are we
animate this?
doing things to like save money, right? Yeah. Like,
you know, it's like I understand, and then because that's the quote from the guy. It's like, oh well, we spent a lot of money, you know, to make the music because it's all like original music or whatever.
Okay.
And I'm like, sure, but shouldn't you spend it on your animation for your animated show?
Yeah, you do.
But
whatever.
I wasn't running it.
What?
Again, no, I know, it's weird.
I'm surprised. I thought you made every show. I thought that this whole podcast was just me giving you constructive feedback on
Typing it up, yeah.
on your creations.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Should we wrap up?
I guess so, yeah. I don't really have much more to say. Like, you know, we're not going to do, like, episode-by-episode breakdown, but, because, yeah, I think overall, we've given our thoughts.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you liked this podcast, we have other episodes.
What?
You could listen to all of them.
Yeah, over 100.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think there's 115 episodes, and then that's not counting, like, the side content we do.
Oh, wow.
That we've done. So, yeah, there's actually a lot of stuff we have there.
So much content. If you enjoy our voices, listen to all of it. There's also the YouTube channel so that you can see our faces while you hear our voices. And you can see that my head is significantly larger than Dan's head, which is why I keep moving back in this episode.
Well, I was saying, I think I'm closer to the camera. I think this.
Well, I started closer, and then I'm like, holy shit, I have such a giant head, so I keep moving back into the library. So YouTube channel, Tome of Uselessness. You can go to our website, tomeofuselessness.com. You can send us an email and, you know, tell us what you'd like us to review next, or tell us that we're wrong about Arcane Season 2.
Tell us all the playable characters that we didn't talk about.
Yeah, perfect. Do that. I'll ignore it. That's tomeofuselessness@gmail.com. And we have an Instagram that I don't post on. So don't look at that.
But do follow it.
Yeah, follow it. Sure. Tome of Uselessness, I think.
Yes, it's not hard.
It's all the same. Everywhere, same thing.
Yeah. Happy holidays. Thanks for listening.
Have a great day.
Sure, he's out there.